Okay, here's a different sort of identity called a trigonometric substitution to change how an expression looks. This is a very convenient technique when you get to calculus, particularly second semester calculus, when you're doing some integration problems. That may make no sense now, but remember I said that when you get to Calc 2. Okay, so here's what you're given. You're given that the value of x is the same as a times the secant of theta. Theta is in quadrant 1, and that the value of a is considered to be positive. Okay, we're going to start with the expression, the square root of x squared minus a squared divided by x, and make the substitution for x and see what happens. And as I've commented in the last couple of videos, I'm just going to follow my own route here and see what we can discover. Okay, so this would be x squared, or a secant of theta squared, minus a squared divided by a secant of theta. Now your job is to try to reduce this trigonometric expression. One thing I notice is that underneath the radical I would have a squared times secant squared minus a squared, still divided by a secant theta. Go over here to give me a little room. And notice that under the radical there's a common factor of a squared, leaving me square root of a squared times secant squared minus 1, still divided by a secant of theta. Okay. Alright, then we would have the square root of a squared versus the square root of secant squared theta minus 1. Now here's where you need to be a little careful. The square root of a squared, I'm going to put this over here, is actually the absolute value of a. That's the algebra rule. But we were told in the problem that a is already positive, so this guy a by himself is already positive. So in that case I can drop the absolute values. We also notice from the 1 plus tangent squared equals secant squared identity that secant squared minus 1 is the same as tangent squared. Still dividing by a secant of theta. A is positive, so these are identical, and we can cancel. Okay, now we run into the same deal. The square root of somebody squared is its absolute value. Now let's see if we can make a decision here. Well, in quadrant 1, tangent as well as all the other trig functions are positive. So its absolute value is itself. Okay, now we can kind of feel like we're getting somewhere. Tangent is sine divided by cosine. Secant is 1 divided by cosine. Algebra says when you invert and multiply, those two denominators cancel, and you are ultimately, after all that, left with sine of theta. That's pretty cool, I think. Okay, it is, again, very helpful in calculus when you get there. Right now, very helpful for your homework and your quiz. Okay.